KFA College Football. Live from Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama, it's the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Alabama Crimson Tide.
This ABC Sports Exclusive is being brought to you by your local BMW dealer. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. By U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start. By Peerless Faucet, installs in no time, lasts a long time. And by J.C. Penney. Today, there's more style in everything you do. And there's more style than ever at J.C. Penney. You're looking smarter than ever. J.C. Penney.
Legion Field, it's alive, it's noisy, they are ready for football. The University of Georgia and the University of Alabama, and here come the Dogs. The Georgia Bulldogs, over the past 4 years, nobody has been able to put a record together quite like they have. 43-4-1. In fact, nobody in college football has been able to make the top 5 in the final season polls, as Georgia has done the past 4 seasons so far this year. Their record, 2 wins and a loss, that 1 defeat coming last week in upset at the hands of South Carolina. As for the University of Alabama, 5 national titles, 18 Southeastern Conference crowns, best record over the past 25 years in college football, the past 10 years in college football. Yet, at the end of the 1981 season, their record, only 17 wins and 11 losses. That Alabama mystique is beginning to fade. Right now, their record, 1 win and 3 losses. Hello, everybody. I'm Corey McFerrin. Going to have a good football game today. You talk about Southern football, you talk about 2 teams usually. You talk about Georgia and you talk about Alabama. These 2 clubs have won or shared the Southeastern Conference crown 12 of the last 13 years. And although they haven't played since 1977, the rivalry goes back quite a long way. With us now is Lee Grosscup. And Lee, these guys have been playing before you can start watching football, right?
And I think that's one for Ripley. This is a long and storied rivalry that does date all the way back to the turn of the century. In fact, when it all started back in 1895, Pop Warner was actually the coach for the University of Georgia. Through the years, of course, there have been some exciting games, some controversial games, and many great players have come out of the rivalry.
Can you tell the University of Alabama is coming on the field right now? One interesting note. Vince Dooley, 20 years ago last month, began his college coaching career at Tuscaloosa. He was 32 years old, and a lot of things have happened since then.
Well, that was an ego-deflating experience for him, but since then he has gone on to be the dean of SEC coaches. He is essentially a fundamentalist, and he believes very strongly in the concept of I-formation football, and also very much in tough defense. Now, his counterpart, of course, is Ray Perkins, who is now in his 2nd season at Alabama after a great rookie year where his team went 8-4. This is going to be a pivotal game for him because the team is 1-3. That's the worst start for the Tide since 1957.
Let's talk about personnel for a second, the quarterback position. Georgia will go with a junior from Waycross, Georgia, by the name of Todd Williams. Alabama counters with a freshman from LaGrange, Georgia, Vince Sutton. Neither player really has played exceptionally well thus far.
Todd Williams particularly has had problems in recent weeks with interception, and I think today is going to be an important game not only physically but emotionally for him, because it's going to depend, this is going to really dictate his self-confidence for the remainder of the season. Now, Vince Sutton is a freshman. We know that he has the talent, but he is short on game experience. Many people felt that he was the premier high school quarterback in the country in 1983. So the main thing that he needs right now is game experience. Should he falter, his backup will be Mike Shula. And, of course, we know he is the son of Don Shula, literally grew up with the Miami Dolphins and football.
What would you say, looking at the game, they've got some similar problems offensively, both defenses fairly solid. What's the key today? What do you look for out here?
I think the key for both teams is that they're going to have to establish something offensively. Both teams are solid in terms of their defense. They are very sound in terms of their kicking game, but they are young offensively. And I think the team that comes out and establishes something with their offense is going to be the team that probably will carry on and win the football game.
Defensively, both teams are more veteran, more experienced in that area, and we should see some fine play on that side of the ball today.
And also, I think the kicking game is something that could well decide the football game today. We have some of the best kickers in the country on both teams.
Kevin Butler and Van Tiffen, Keeping an eye on them all day today. The Alabama Crimson Tide and the Georgia Bulldogs today from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. 75,000 plus on hand. Should be a good one. We'll have it all for you. Kickoff is coming up in just one moment. Head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Ray Perkins, in his second season, talking things over with the referee. We've got a game time. Temperature 77 degrees. The wind's a little windy up here in the booth, 10 miles an hour south to southwest. Alabama, as you can tell, will be kicking it off to the University of Georgia. You can see the wind taking care of the Alabama flag pretty well. All kinds of red here in this stadium today. The Crimson of Alabama and that bright red. The University of Georgia followers wear it at each one of their games. Back to receive for the University of Georgia, number 24. That is Cassius Osborne, outstanding freshman. Andre Smith, number 35, is also back to receive. This is Terry Sanders about to kick it off. We're underway at Legion Field. Smith, 20, 25, across the 30-yard line. Well, the Georgia offense will take over. Todd Williams is your quarterback. Lars State, outstanding freshman from Indianapolis, Indiana. Andre Smith, they call him Pulpwood. He's a good one. Jimmy Hockaday, the flanker out of Nashville, a junior. Herman Archie, the best receiver on this club from Columbus, Georgia. That's what it looks like offensively for the Bulldogs. They'll take it over on the 31-yard line. The give to Smith. Couple yards, that's about it. Scott McRae on the tackle. Here's Georgia now with Scott Williams, Mike Weaver, the big guy at right tackle. Jimmy Holton, the right guard out of Bainbridge, Georgia. Peter Anderson from New Jersey, he's your center. The main man experience-wise on this offensive line. Kim Stevens, his second start for Georgia. Wilbur Strozier moving from tight end to left tackle today. Second down. Hockaday in motion. This is Lars Tate. He's hit. Immediately gets a couple yards up close to the 35-yard line. John Hand, the leading tackler for the University of Alabama, makes the stop for the Tide. With a flag on the play. Defensive line for Alabama, as you say, John Hand, the man to watch here. Kurt Jarvis, also a tough one. Brent Soule, the defensive tackle, obviously the penalty against Alabama. Defensive linebackers, you got Rockwell, King, and Bennett. Defensive backfield, Vernon Wilkinson, Freddie Robinson, Paul Tripoli, and Britton Cooper.
First down.
Face mask against Alabama, first down, and suddenly the Georgia Bulldogs have the football at midfield. Lars Tate up the middle, gets by one man, and powers his way inside the Alabama 45, where Randy Rockwell makes the stop.
Corey, that is indicative of what Georgia likes to do. We talked about this at the top of the show. They are a tailback-oriented team. Vince Dooley believing very strongly in the concept of high-formation football. If he had his druthers, he'd get that ball to his tailback 30, 40 times a game and just pound on you.
2nd and 4. Andre Smith breaks away, 30, 25, he may score, 10, 5, touchdown, Georgia. What a way to start a football game, 44 yards. Andre Smith, sophomore from Douglas, Georgia, the leading rusher on this football club. He scored on a 50-yard run versus Southern Miss earlier in the year. Watch it again, Lee Groscott.
Andre Smith, a.k.a. Pulpwood, over his right guard. Holton and Weaver clear the way. A big opening over the right side, and then it's just a foot race to the end zone. The leading ball carrier on the team coming into today's game, and also up there in receiving.
Kevin Butler on to attempt the extra point. It is up. It is good. And at the 13:32 mark of the first quarter, the Georgia Bulldogs take a 7-0 lead. Quite a start for the Dogs. Back with more from Legion Field in Seymour.
If you've got what it takes and really care, there's a special kind of life you'll want to share. Serving your country is a special call. It's good for you. It's good for all. Not all who drive fit the bill. It calls for brains. It calls for skill in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. High-tech and the services go hand in hand. It's a whole new world. You're in demand in the Army, Navy.
Back at Legion Field, Georgia about to kick it off. 7-0. The Dogs grab a quick lead here on the 44-yard run from touchdown by Andre Smith for the Bulldogs. Their first touchdown of the first quarter so far this year.
Watch the blocking on the right side between Holton and Weaver. Quick hitting play on the right side. And look at this. Nobody home in the secondary. Breaks the tackle there and on in for the touchdown.
Chester Braggs in the end zone, elects to bring it out. Bad decision. He's taken down on the 11-yard line. On the stop, it was Tony Mangrum. Vince Sutton is your quarterback, freshman from LaGrange, Georgia. Paul Ott-Caruth, the halfback. He's a tough one, as is Ricky Moore, all SEC last season. Also on the offensive side for Alabama, Greg Richardson. He's the #1 man in terms of speed on this club. A surprising freshman from Nashville. Clay Whitehurst is your split in. 13:27 to go, first quarter. Alabama's first offensive series. Caruth, and he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Henry Harris, the sophomore from Decatur, Georgia, makes the big play. The Dogs are pumped up. Thornton Chandler, the tight end for Alabama. Willard Schism at right tackle out of Huntsville. John McIntosh, the right guard. He hails from Dalton, Georgia. Wes Neighbors, perhaps the best guy on this line. He's from Huntsville. Mike White from Decatur, Georgia, your left guard. And big guy, Hoss Johnson. Like to have a Hoss in every football game. There is a flag on the play. Officials discussing with Knox Culpepper, the outstanding linebacker for Georgia, what this thing's all about. It appears to be against Bama. Holding penalty declined. It'll be second down, and they're calling it 10. Georgia's defensive line. Calvin Ruff, Donald Chumley, Henry Harris, the man to make that outstanding play a moment ago. Kenny Sims, the guy to watch, as is Carlisle Hewitt. Second and 12 is the official count. Moore powering. Gets 3, maybe 4 yards. Knox Culpepper, an All-American candidate, the leading tackler on this club, at one linebacker, along with Bill Mitchell, the secondary, Flack, Harris, Little, and Jeff Sanchez. 3rd and 7. Sutton gives it to Moore. He's going nowhere. The big guy, Knox Culpepper, is there to make the stop, and Alabama will have to punt it away. And the Dogs fans in attendance here at Legion Field, and there are quite a few enjoying the show thus far.
Questionable call there on 3rd and what would normally be a passing down. But we mentioned at the top that Ray Perkins, although some people think of him as a passing coach, is essentially a fundamentalist, somewhat conservative in many ways.
This is Terry Sanders on to punt the ball away for Bama, 35.1-yard average. Having a rough year so far. Plenty of time here. Ball is taken by Jimmy Harrell, and Harrell gets across midfield down close to the 40-yard line. A good run back by Harrell. Once again, Georgia has great field position. A return of 16 yards. 7-0. Dogs lead. $11 minutes, 53 seconds to go here in the first quarter. The Georgia Bulldogs off to a quick start. It's 7-0. They have possession of the football on the Alabama 40-yard line.
And if you believe in field position, statistics show that when you get the ball like this, you should score 70% of the time. Let's see if that holds up.
Todd Williams will pitch it back. This is Lars Tate. Pounding inside the 35-yard line for Alabama. Let's take a look at the touchdown, the 44-yard run by Andre Pulpwood Smith.
Perfect blocking on the right side with Holton and Weaver. I don't think he's ever touched. Right there, their hand that gets on him by Britton Cooper, number 20. But that's all. That's like a clinic. That's the way you draw it up on the chalkboard and hope you can run it in practice and in a game.
Fred Lane in motion. Andre Smith again, another big opener. He's going to score again. 10-5 touchdown. And Georgia blowing out the Alabama Crimson Tide at the line of scrimmage. A 34-yard run. Incredible. On Georgia Bulldogs off to a 2-touchdown lead. And Nick Grosscraft, we weren't expecting this.
This time, it was the identical play to the left side, the key blocks by the center and the guard. Anderson and Stevens.
Kick by Butler is good. Andre Smith, 3 carries, 80 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Vince Dooley got to be ecstatic about the opening here for the Dogs.
The key fullback play in the I formation is simply this, the power dive on the left side. He gives it a good read. He sees pressure to the outside, cuts back to the inside, and once again, Alabama jamming the line of scrimmage. No one is there in the secondary. And once again, there's nobody between him and the end zone. The blocks that made it possible on the left side, Stevens and Anderson, and the cutback right there by Andre Pulpwood Smith. Mike Weaver comes across from the right side and also gets into the action on John Hand. He's the man blocking on big John Hand today. Excellent execution along the entire offensive line by Georgia. Uga, Roman numeral 4.
He's looking good today. He may end up with some treats before the day is out.
And if you don't know, UGA, UGA, stands for
University of Georgia. That isn't
Very
too tough,
simple.
Cup. Come on.
Not so tough.
You know, we talked about at the top of the show about the fact that Georgia's offense had been sputtering and struggling, and certainly with this kind of performance, that perhaps has come to an end. Not much of a drive. 2 plays, 40 yards, takes 40 seconds. In a matter of 2 minutes and 8 seconds, the Dogs put on a couple of touchdowns. It's 14-0. Butler to kick it off. It's out of the end zone, so they'll bring it up to the 30-yard line. A new rule in college football this year. If it goes out of the end zone, it's the 30, not the 20. Kevin Butler, All-American candidate, University of Georgia. All-time SEC field goal leader. He's the guy to keep your eye on today.
And one of the great kickers in the history of major college football.
He is something. We saw him a couple weeks back beat the Clemson Tigers in the final seconds with a 60-yard field goal lead that I'm telling you, could have made it. Could have been a 70-yard. I'm serious. 1st and 10 for Alabama at the 30-yard line. Sutton is still your quarterback. This is Paulot Carruth. Slips by one man, but the Dogs defense comes up. Sanchez and John Little are there to make the stop. Gain of just a couple yards on the play.
Sanchez, of course, the ringleader of the Bulldogs secondary. He was a starter for them the entire 1982 season. Redshirted because of an injury in 1983. They are glad to have him back.
Sanchez is tough. Back in '82, made 9 interceptions to lead the nation. I should say to be number 2nd in the nation that year. There's Ray Perkins in desperate need of a victory today. 1 win, 3 losses. Tide fans growing impatient. Vince Sutton's first throw of the afternoon to Ricky Moore. And Moore's got a first down at the 48-yard line of Alabama. Gain of 15 yards on the play.
Good play action that time coming to the left side. Ricky Moore, the leading receiver on the team. They throw a lot to their back. He runs a little flat pattern to the left side. Touch and timing pass there. Nicely thrown by Sutton. Bill Mitchell, number 56, is the man who brings Moore down after the first down.
Ricky Moore, a chance to be Alabama's leading rusher for 3 consecutive years. The give is to Moore. He drives his way up the middle, across midfield, where he's brought down by Knox Culpepper. A little help from Jeff Sanchez. Moore is 6 feet, 235 pounds, a senior from Huntsville.
Coming into this season, Corey, coming into this season, he had 6 consecutive 100-yard rushing games. He has yet to have a 100-yard game in 1984. However, he is the team's leading pass receiver.
In fact, coming in, he'd only totaled 146 yards, a 3.4 average. They say he's becoming a little frustrated. Tries the right side for a couple, hurdles one man. Henry Harris is there to make the stop.
Good job of jamming the line of scrimmage there by the Bulldogs. Their base look defensively is what's known as a split 60. That goes all the way back to the days of Irk Russell. He brought the split 60 look to the Bulldogs, and it's become a tradition. However, they're much more sophisticated now than when Irk was here. They still have that as their base look, but it's kind of a smorgasbord.
3rd and 3. Sutton will throw. It is successful to near side, and Clay Whitehurst, and he should have the first down. Kevin Harris forces him out. And Clay Whitehurst, interesting story. Here's a guy who wasn't even recruited highly by the University of Alabama. He's a freshman. He is starting, and he came to Bama to be part of a national championship team. Watch Moore.
Moore is also an outstanding blocker. You've seen him do just about everything. Good runner. The leading receiver on the team, and that time he cut down Knox Culpepper, number 48, who was blitzing that time for the Dogs.
Penalty, let's listen in.
Offense, third down.
Bad break for Alabama. Illegal motion sets up a 3rd and 3 instead of a first down.
That is the 3rd penalty against the Crimson Tide. Of course, that first face mask penalty gave the Dogs outstanding field position.
3rd and 8. Sutton, plenty of time, walks it out, intended for Whitehurst, overthrown, gets a hand on it, but that's about it. Kevin Harris is there to defend along with John Little. Good coverage by Georgia.
We talked about the lack of game experience and reading coverages. Remember that Vince Sutton, as we said at the very top, only a freshman. He made the parade All-American high school team, USA Today All-American. Many people felt he was the top high school quarterback in America in 1983, but still lacks game experience at the college level and has to learn a whole new system.
Sanders to punt for Alabama. A little bit of a rush there. Gets it off, though. Jimmy Harrell is back to receive a short kick. That's Tony Flack at the 22-yard line. Well, Georgia will take over on offense once again. They lead by a score of 14-0 with 8:51 to go in the first quarter. Dogs lead by a score of 14-0, but a big break for Alabama moments ago on that punt. A holding call against Georgia. Alabama gets the football back, a first down on the Georgia 41-yard line.
And that is the first time the Tide have had opportune field position, the first time that they have started a drive inside the 50-yard line.
Don't forget about the National League Championship Series, Game 4 tonight on ABC. The Cubs and the Padres, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. The victory will clinch it for Chicago. Ricky Moore, not much. Bill Mitchell, the 6'1", 219-pound junior from Dalton, Georgia, is there, as is Knox Culpepper.
Ricky Moore trying to pound on the right side there. One of the things we talked about was the youth of the Alabama offense. This is one of the youngest teams they have had in a long time. Likewise for Vince Dooley. In fact, he told us yesterday his youngest team in 21 years.
2nd and 9. Sutton will throw far side. It's complete to Greg Richardson, where he's tackled immediately by Tony Flack at the 35-yard line. Richardson, a real burner. The guy can fly if he gets open.
Well, he's the fastest man on the team with 4.4 speed in the 40-yard dash. 5'9", 166. He had 6 catches coming into today's game. You saw the cushion that they had to give him there because of that speed.
Vince Sutton will throw again, but this time he is stopped behind the line, back at the 45-yard line. That is Calvin Ruff, number 86.
Multiple fronts here by Georgia. This is one of the things that their coaches told us yesterday, is that they were going to show a lot of different looks, do everything they could to confuse the freshman quarterback, Vince Sutton.
Calvin Ruff, number 86, with help from Andre Holmes. Makes it 4th and 13. And once again, Alabama will have to punt it away. Terry Sanders, a workout so far here in the first quarter. Jimmy Harrell, number 82, back to receive for the Dogs. Here we go. You hear the whistles. They'll try it again here. Alabama with 3 losses this year. To Boston College, to Georgia Tech, and to Vanderbilt. Georgia, 2 wins and a victory. Their 1 loss coming to South Carolina.
Delay the game in fraction of a 25-second count.
Sets it back a few more yards, makes it 4th and 18. Jimmy Harrell looks confused out there.
4 penalties already against Alabama.
Harrell at the 13, a fair catch. Good look at some of the fans here at Legion Field. The Dogs in command so far. More action coming at you after this. Back at Legion Field, the scoreboard tells a story. Under 7 minutes to go here in the first quarter, the Dogs with a 14-0 lead. They have the football on their own 13-yard line. Todd Williams is your quarterback. Lars Tate, Andre Smith, your running back. Jimmy Hockaday in motion. This is Smith already with 2 touchdowns today, but John Hand comes up to make the big stop. Let's now check in with Jim Lampley in New York.
Corey, it's been a hard luck year for George Perlis and Michigan State, but here is a victory which will keep the Wolves away from the door, quite literally. 19-7 over Michigan's Wolverines today for the Spartans after their pregame pep talk from Kirk Gibson. Let's go back to Corey McFerrin at Legion Field.
Thank you, Jim. Back to live action. This is Lars Tate. He breaks away across the 30-yard line. Rory Turner makes the stop, and for a half second we thought he might be off to the races as well. 17-yard gain. Let's watch it again.
Lars Tate on the tailback blast play right here. And he is one of 3 tailbacks who will be seeing action today. He is a gifted freshman with all kinds of speed.
First and 10, 32-yard line to give is to number 32, Lars Tate, who dives across the 35 to about the 38-yard line. Lars Tate gained more than 17, make it 1,400 yards in high school, North Central High School, Indianapolis, Indiana. Unbelievable 9.5-yard average in high school. A Parade Magazine All-American. His first start of his collegiate career today against the Crimson Tide. 2nd and 5. That's Tate in motion. Andre Smith. Not much for Andre. Can't hear you. Third and 1. 41-yard line of Georgia. 75,000 plus here at Legion Field. First time these 2 clubs have met in Vince Dooley's coaching career here at Legion Field. David McCluskey in motion. The give to Smith. He dives, or to Tate, I should say. He dives. We'll have to wait and see if he gets the first down. Fourth and less than a foot. It looks like Vince Dooley says, let's go for it. Vince Dooley, the 3rd winningest coach among active coaches in college football today. Big play. Let's see what happens. Tate, he's got it.
I think forward progress will give it to him.
Cliff Thomas makes the stop there for Alabama. See it again here, Gupper.
See right here, I think his forward progress there gave him the necessary yardage. He was hit by number 99, Cliff Thomas.
First down, Georgia. Todd Williams in his throw, tosses it out to Tate. Not going to fool anybody. Paul Tripoli with help from Freddie Robinson. A loss on the play for the Bulldogs. Paul Tripoli, the veteran in that secondary. The number 1 big play man on this Alabama team, with 9 of them. Things like passes blocked, tackles for loss, things of that nature. How about this graphic, Copper? That tells the story, huh?
That shows the real domination of the Dogs thus far in the football game.
Cleveland Gary in the ball game for the first time. Up the gut for 3 or 4, back near the line of scrimmage.
Tate, Gary, and Franz Jackson are the 3 tailbacks expected to see action today. Of course, it's been so hard replacing that great one, Herschel Walker.
You just don't replace a guy like Herschel Walker. A lot of the Bulldog fans keep saying, is Tate the new Herschel? Is Cleveland Gary the new Herschel? Well, not many people are going to be the new Herschel. 3rd and 12, the fake. Williams running, still on his feet. He will keep it, and he gets nowhere. Back to the line of scrimmage. And Alabama's defense stiffens here. The final couple minutes of the first quarter. Cornelius Bennett, excellent linebacker out of Birmingham, is the man to make the play on Todd Williams. Greg Richardson back to receive. For the first time today, we will see Chip Andrews punting for Georgia, averaging almost 47 yards. That punt nearly blocked. Richardson backpedaling. He is smothered at the 14-yard line. That is quite a hit by Kenny Driscoll. Alabama takes over on offense, but right now let's take a quick visit to the University of Georgia campus in Athens. Just seconds ago, Ricky Moore took the ball, pounded over the right side for a yard or two. Going to call it 2nd and 7 for Alabama on their own 19-yard line.
Once again, the Tide starts with poor field position. One of the factors thus far in the football game.
Vince Sutton is your quarterback. Draw play, Paul Ott-Carew.
Paul Ott-Carew, number 16, who just carried the ball, had 3 years as a wishbone player. Set out last season with an injury. They're glad to have him back this year because of his experience.
He is the leading rusher on this club, 261 yards, and he was hurt, as a matter of fact, on the final play of the 1982 spring game. Had to sit out all last year, made the recovery.
He's also the 2nd leading pass receiver on the team.
Quite a ball player. There's a man down in the field. We can take a break and visit the Alabama campus in Tuscaloosa. Less than a minute to go here in the first quarter. Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. Thornton Chandler just moments ago taken to the sideline. The tight end for the Alabama Crimson Tide. There he is, hobbling off. Looks like a problem with the right leg. Hope it's not too serious. Preston Gothard is in to replace Thornton Chandler at tight end. 3rd and 5. Sutton fakes. He is rushed. He is hit. John Little comes up to make the big play on the 3rd down. A 14-yard loss on the play. John Little comes out of nowhere.
The wrong call at the wrong time. Play action fake. Sutton trying to roll outside to get corner control. Little right there in his face.
So it's way back now to the 6-yard line, and once again, Terry Sanders is in to punt for Alabama, and once again, Georgia may find themselves with excellent field position. Good-looking kick. Jimmy Harrell, 42 of Georgia. Not going anywhere. He is smothered right there. Still, though, not bad field position. 52-yard punt, a return of 1 yard. And that will do it at the end of 1 quarter. The Georgia Bulldogs lead the Alabama Crimson Tide by a score of 14-0. 3 quarters remain at Legion Field. Back with more in a moment. Thank you, Jim. Part of the University of Alabama's $1 Million Band. And so far, they're not having all that much to cheer about here. Georgia with the football as we begin the second quarter. Todd Williams rolling and firing. Nobody there intended for Scott Williams or perhaps David McCluskey. Todd Williams this year, 51% completion rate. He's had 6 interceptions this year, 5 of those 2 weeks ago against Clemson. Taken every snap this year. 6 feet, 173 pounds. Out of Waycross, Georgia. 2nd and 10. Cleveland Gary. Not much.
The father of Todd Williams played for Georgia back around the same time that Fran Tarkenton was here. Todd told me yesterday he admired Fran. What's most amazing about these first quarter stats is the second line. Look at this, Corey. Georgia, 130 rushing yards, counting the sacks now. Alabama, a net of 0.
3rd and 8. Williams to throw, gets some pressure, then gets it off. This is Gary. Tries to spin away, but he's hit hard at the 35-yard line by a couple of Bama defenders. And Georgia gets nothing offensively. Going to have to punt it away, and suddenly you feel some of that momentum beginning to change.
In talking with Ray Perkins earlier today, he told me that his team would have to be more opportunistic. When they got good field position, when they got some momentum, they were going to have to start taking advantage of their opportunities. They have not done that so far offensively in 1984.
Big rush, look out. Almost blocked, but Andrews gets it off. Not a very good punt. Gets a great Georgia bounce, however, inside the 30. Rolling around. It'll be down at about the 28. I believe that ball was tipped, perhaps by Lewis Dean. It's a punt of only 27 yards. Obviously no return. Bama crowd is fired up.
Fine.
We've got 13:33 to go. Georgia ahead by 2 touchdowns. Bama trying to work on that score a little bit. Vince Sutton is at quarterback. Vince last week went 14 of 37 against Vanderbilt, hoping to improve on that today. This is Paul Otteruth. Tries the right side. Not much room for him to roam there. Calvin Ruff, number 86, the man credited with the tackle.
Once again, the Bulldogs doing a good job of jamming the line of scrimmage in that split 60 look. They will show you really a whole lot of multiple fronts, various dogs, and a lot of different coverages in the secondary. So they are very, very multiple with their defenses.
2nd and 8. The freshman quarterback sets and delivers. Got a man, but he overthrows him. Greg Richardson streaking down the sideline. Appeared to have a couple steps on his man. The ball overthrown. 3rd and 8.
Richardson, who has been effective as a return man at times, ran a straight fly pattern that time. The ball was thrown into coverage, however.
Richardson high school coach, Williamson High School in Mobile, Alabama, a guy by the name of Fred Burks, is said to have said about Richardson that he's seen him catch a ball and go 7 different ways at once. Give you an idea what kind of moves this guy's got. Sutton flips it off. Ball out to Luke. It's going to work. 30, 35, 40. Knocked out of bounds by Kevin Harris. First down, Alabama. Big play as Sutton hits Caruth for the big gainer.
Paul Otteruth, who we've talked about as the leading rusher and second leading receiver on the team, is going to run a little swing pattern here, coming from his right halfback position across the field and then flaring out into the left flat. It's a foot race to the sidelines, and Kevin Harris, number 20, runs him down there.
First down, Sutton tries it the other way. This time, nothing doing. Ricky Moore is smashed by Knox Culpepper as the ball was thrown. Ricky had no chance. That ball almost could have been picked off there.
That's when a back comes back to the quarterback and says, please don't throw that ball like that again. Look at this. He lobs it up in the air. He has to wait for it. And then right in his face is the leading tackler in the secondary for the Bulldogs, linebacker Knox Culpepper, the senior, number 48. Culpepper's father played quarterback for Georgia back in the mid-50s.
In fact, Knox and his father, the only father-son combination ever be featured on the front of the Georgia media guide, which has got to be some kind of a record somehow. Sutton gives it off to Paul Otteruth, still struggling for yardage. Gets up to about the 42.
Ray Perkins, as we mentioned, is sometimes thought of as a passing coach, but he told me earlier today that he prefers the 2-to-1 ratio in terms of running and passing. He himself, of course, a great receiver for the Crimson Tide back in the mid-60s. He caught from 3 different quarterbacks, Joe Namath, Steve Sloan, and then Ken Stabler.
Not a bad trio. 3rd and 5. Just under 12 minutes to go for the half. Sutton releases as he backpedals. He's got Preston Gothard. And he's got another first down, I do believe, for Alabama.
Preston Gothard, the tight end, number 86, is most effective running either quick in or quick out patterns. His numbers you see reflected there. He has the size you like in a tight end and also very sure hands.
Hasn't played in 2 weeks. Gothard hasn't, out with bruised ribs. 1st and 10, 46-yard line of Georgia. Sutton, this time, bullet pass, intercepted, I do believe. It is Steve Boswell for Georgia. And just like that, as the momentum began to swing around, Georgia comes up with a big defensive play, and the ball belongs to them.
Exactly. That's the type of play you can look back on when you're watching the films, and you can say, this is where the game might have turned for Alabama, but instead it turned for Georgia. A big play by the backup linebacker, number 44, Steve Boswell. Straight drop back. He slides a little to his left. Now look at that. Perfect timing as he steps in front of Clay Whitehurst, number 82, who was trying to run a curl-in route on the left side.
Todd Williams hands the ball off. Andre Smith almost breaks it open up close to midfield.
Andre Pulpwood Smith. What are his brothers' names?
Chainsaw and Sawdust.
Sawdust. Most unusual nicknames I've ever heard for a trio of brothers.
Andre is from Douglas, Georgia. The story is he worked on a pulpwood truck for a long time and got that nickname. Also used to hit home runs over some big pine trees in high school. And his baseball coach called him that because they make pulpwood out of pine trees. Second man through, Lars Tate across midfield.
Well, Pulpwood has made sawdust out of the Bama defense thus far today.
I love it. Very well done. No matter what you call him, he's a heck of an athlete. A good baseball player, too. He was drafted by the Angels out of high school, but chose to go to school and play some football, and I think Vince Dooley's pretty happy about that.
You know, he reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Womack off of the 1980 team that featured Herschel Walker in his freshman year. That's the team that went on to win the national championship.
Smith so far as they check for the first down. 5 carries, 92 yards, and a couple of scores, which isn't a bad half of work.
And he's just getting started. It's all been on basically the same play, the fullback dive or drive play, in which he starts off the right guard, and he can either break it inside or outside. Both times he's broken it a little bit back toward the inside, and there's been nobody home in the secondary because Alabama was jamming the line of scrimmage.
This guy only played in the JV team last year. He didn't even play in the varsity. First down for Georgia, as you can tell. Ty Williams called the timeout. Didn't like what he saw on the Alabama defensive front. He'll check it out as Uga looks on. He's happy so far. Georgia 14, Alabama zip. Georgia Bulldogs going after their first Southeastern Conference victory of the year. Alabama already 0-1 off last week's loss to Vanderbilt. They want to turn things around, even up that record. Fred Lane in motion. The pitch from Williams to Lars Tate. Dives for 3 or 4 up close to the 45-yard line of Alabama.
Lars Tate, number 32, quite a freshman prospect. He has the size you like. He's 6'2", 213. A couple of the coaches told us an interesting thing about him yesterday. They said he has only 2.8% body fat, which means that he's practically all muscle. If he learns to really, if he learns all the tricks of the trade of that tailback position, he could be a great prospect.
2nd and 7. Lars lowers the head. Hits about the 45-yard line. Vince Nelder makes the stop. Listen out to the sidelines and Lynn Swan. Swanee, what's happening?
Well, Corey, coming into this ball game, Georgia came in with respect and fear. Respect for a ball club that's much more talented than Alabama's 1-2 record, and fear that they wouldn't explode against the Georgia football team. That's all been translated into an excitement and enthusiasm as they came out fired up for this ball game, and they've caught the Alabama Tide very flat.
Thank you, Lynn. You know, Ray Perkins said they've played 3 real good teams in Boston College, Tech, and Vandy, but this Georgia team, he says, is a great team. Todd Williams running for his life, knocked out hard at about the 45-yard line. That is Cornelius Bennett, the man most feared on this Alabama defensive squad. The guy loves to hit.
Number 97, I have a feeling that we're going to see more of him before this day is out. He has been compared to the great Lawrence Taylor. Here he is at his linebacker position. Now watch how he reads the play. He comes up, squares off, good leverage there, low center of gravity, makes the tackle along the sideline. And he executes beautifully at that linebacker position, and he's only a sophomore.
So Georgia will punt for the 3rd consecutive time after opening up the game with 2 touchdowns in their first 2 possessions. This time, it's not a punt. It's Scott Williams. First down, Georgia. Wow. Watch it again. A gadget play worked for the University of Georgia. Nobody expecting it.
This is not too characteristic of Vince Dooley football, but that's why it's so effective, because from time to time they'll throw in a gadget play. It's the fake punt. Scott Williams, number 30, takes the direct snap from center, goes off right tackle there, and picks up the valuable first down yardage.
First and 10, 34-yard line. That's the big play to Scott Williams. Lars Tate scrambles for a couple. Scott Williams is a guy who knows all about carrying the football because he was a fullback last year. In fact, number 2 fullback on this Georgia team. Was moved over to tight end this year.
He's also played rover back. They say that this is a guy who is probably the most versatile player on the team, and that whenever there's an opening at a particular position, they just kind of slide him in there because he knows he can play just about anywhere.
He's an excellent athlete, 6'1", 234 pounds. Williams, the fake, the pitch. Cleveland Gary turns the corner. Inside the 30, almost to the 25-yard line. Let's now check in with Jim Lampley in New York. Jim.
Corey, here's the score in the one game involving a highly ranked team being played right now. Purdue has just gotten Everett's 2nd touchdown pass to stay close, but another big day for Keith Byers. For the 11th straight game, he has 2 touchdowns. He ran back a kickoff, only the 3rd one he's touched this year, for 61 yards to set up a field goal. So it's 17-14 Buckeyes, and let's go back to Corey McFerrin.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. 3rd and 3 for Georgia. 28-yard line. Cleveland Gary bursts through. I think he has got the first down. I tell you, to have 2 tailbacks like Cleveland Gary and Lars Tate, both of whom are freshmen, is quite... Let's see the first down being called.
And then they have Tron Jackson to back him up. So they have 3 who are burners. And Tron Jackson particularly, they may save him for the 4th quarter because they like to get him in there when the other team is tired. Cleveland Gary, number 36, one of the 2 freshmen that Corey just talked about. He got a good block there from Mike Weaver, of course, the brother of Eddie Meat Cleaver Weaver, now with the Los Angeles Express in the United States Football League.
Mike's name is simply Jumbo. Nothing quite as interesting as Meat Cleaver. Jumbo, which at 6'2", 280 is a fairly common nickname for someone named at that size, I think.
I'll accept that.
7 minutes to go here in the first half. Georgia, 14-0 lead.
Jumbo and Meat Cleaver. How would you like to get sandwiched by those 2?
Number 63, you saw a pretty good look at Big Mike. To answer your question, no, I would not. Jimmy Hockaday in motion, pitch back. Cleveland Gary inside the 20-yard line. Freddie Robinson knocks Cleveland out.
Pitch to the short side. The 2 predominant plays for the tailback are the blast and the power pitch. They're not using the sprint draw as much with these new tailbacks because they haven't learned to take advantage of the entire field yet. When Herschel Walker was here, of course, that's one of the plays that they used predominantly for Herschel. The sprint draw right and left.
18-yard line. It's 3rd and 4. Ron Jackson, gets hits a yard at best. And we're going to see Kevin Butler come on. And this is something, the third down conversion is something that Georgia had problems with last week against South Carolina. Only made 4 of 16 opportunities. In fact, he had the ball 3 different times inside the 25-yard line of South Carolina. Could not convert. Having problems close today, at least this time. 34-yard field goal attempt by Kevin Butler. He has missed from 26 and 34 yards in the last 2 weeks. 9 of 12 overall. Kick is up. Looks good, and it is. 34-yard kick from Kevin Butler, the senior from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And the University of Georgia has a 17-0 lead with less than 6 minutes to go here at Legion Field. If you've just joined us, Georgia, a 17-0 lead. Andre Smith, a 44-yard run early in the first. Andre Smith, a 34-yard run 2 minutes later for a touchdown. And Kevin Butler's field goal moments ago. It is 17-0. We've got 5:56 to go here in the first half. Chester Bragg back to receive, backpedaling. I don't think he's going to grab this one. It is gone. Butler can punch that thing. Be brought out to the 30-yard line. But I think there's a flag. As Kevin turns around and heads back. That's a nice move there. Can you do that, Kevin? See that with the foot?
I saw that where he just kind of whipped the tee up with his foot.
That's a skill not many of us possess.
Now remember, the guy is a former soccer player. Let's listen.
Good point.
Offside, kicking team, decline, touchback, first down on the 30.
Let's see that again. Now watch it. Redan High School, Stone Mountain, Georgia. Let's watch it again. He was a big soccer player there. Obviously picked up some skills.
That's a soccer move if I've ever seen one right there. He can do that with his left foot as well. He can kick 40 yards left-footed. Did you know that? A little-known fact.
Kevin Butler. More amazing facts and figures every weekend. Don Horsted, first carry of the game for Alabama. Carried it 5 times prior today for 25 yards. Coming up next week, big game here on CFA College Football and ABC. Number 1 ranked Texas versus number 5 Oklahoma. Every year, no matter what their rank, it's a great ball game. But this time, got a number 1 and number 5 going at it. Should be quite a barn burner, right, Clifford? Sutton fires. It is caught out there. Chester Bragg.
Right, the term shootout has become almost a cliche in college football, but when we talk Texas and Oklahoma, we're talking the real shootout.
That'll be at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Texas and Oklahoma next week right here on ABC. 4:53 to go. 17-0 Georgia. Alabama's second-string offensive line is in. Vince Sutton throws under pressure. He's got Preston Gothard. First down, Alabama, 46-yard line. Bama fans haven't had much to get excited about today as you see a couple of flags out there. Vince Sutton trots back towards the huddle after getting a few words from Ray Perkins. It's against Georgia. They're going to step it off. And Bama is in Bulldog territory. In fact, inside the 40.
Dead ball, personal foul, first down.
So we have a personal foul after the completion, and that gives them excellent field position. That was the best-looking pass play of the day for Bama. And now they're knocking.
First down just inside the 40. Braggs and Horsted in at the back positions. This is Greg Richardson, the quick pass to the near side. Tony Flack is there immediately.
Tony Flack, the cornerback, had a tough assignment there because he's got a one-on-one situation with a quick man in the open field.
Ray Perkins.
What a player he was for Alabama. and has had a diversified career in coaching, both at the college and professional level.
You mentioned Namath Stabler and Steve Sloan in college. He also played with Johnny Unitas at the pro level. This is Preston Gothard over the middle. He's about 3 yards shy of the first down. So Ray Perkins knows what a good quarterback is all about, obviously. And he likes Vince Sutton a whole lot. Remember, Sutton is a freshman and playing only his 5th game.
He's 7 of 12 now in the passing department for 65 yards. He's been picked off once. That was the one he threw to the linebacker, Steve Boswell, number 44.
I'm sure he wishes he had back. Big play, 3rd and 3, 32-yard line. 3:12 to go, first half. And Vince says, let's call time and figure out exactly what we're supposed to do here. So Sutton heads to the sidelines to talk things over with Ray Perkins. We'll take time as well. Georgia leads 17-0 at Legion Field in Birmingham. Good look at some of the 75,000 plus here at Legion Field. One of the great stadiums in all of college football. Big play, 3rd and 3. Vince Sutton calling signal. See what he does. Paul out, Caruth going left side. Going to dump it out to him. It's overthrown, incomplete. Culpepper is there in the coverage. And that play was telegraphed from the snap.
That's true. He was looking to his left. He was fading to his left. He never took his eyes off Caruth. They're going to have to do something to diversify their passing game, stretch the defense vertically a little more, because they have a tendency to want to hit those flats too much.
Now, the ball's on the 32-yard line. It's 4th and 3, 3:05 to go in the half, and Ray Perkins wants to go for it. With a 17-point deficit, he doesn't want to try for 3, a 3-point effort that wouldn't be all that. Oh, wow, Vince Sutton gets by. He's going to score. Touchdown, Alabama. Wow, 32 yards. Vince Sutton, the freshman from LaGrange, Georgia, on a 3rd and 3. All they wanted was the first down, or 4th and 3, excuse me. All they wanted was the first down, but they come up big, 32 yards and the score.
It looked like it might have been an improvision, but I think it was a called play. I think it was the quarterback draw by Vince Sutton, who does have good speed.
Extra point is good. Suddenly it's a 10-point game. Georgia 17, Alabama 7. And it looked to me as if there was some confusion, as if perhaps it was an improvised play. We'll have to check it out again,
But watch his drop. You see, that's plant. That's a quarterback draw.
Sure.
1-2, and through the hole he goes. And once he gets here, because of the coverage, there's no one here in the middle of the field, and Vince Sutton, the freshman, goes in for the touchdown. This is the type of a play that can turn a game around. It can also turn a season around.
.32 yards for the score. And this place has come alive, believe me. 17-7. It's got to give Vince some confidence, too, that could affect his throwing as well the rest of the ball game, a play like that. Quite an athlete. Terry Sanders will kick it off. He's got 2:58 to go in the first half. Andre Smith at the 1. Trying to turn it up. Gets up to the 18. And the tie is fired up.
One big play like that can turn on an entire squad. The special teams will react to it, too.
The Alabama drive, 70 yards, 7 plays, just under 3 minutes. Key play, of course, Sutton's 32-yard run, the quarterback draw. Listen to this crowd. Andre Smith. Tide fans still on their feet.
Ray Perkins would like nothing more than to get the ball back in good field position and put another number up on the board. That could really change the momentum for the second half.
You know, Ray was asked this week about the prospects of a losing season. 1-3. What about this game? He said, did you ever see a mad dog backed into a corner? You don't want to. We're seeing a bit of that right now. Andre Smith hit and hit hard, knocked back by Cornelius Bennett along with help from John Hand.
Two of the premier defensive players on the team, King and Hand, both sandwiching Smith that time.
Sets up a 3rd and 7. Under 2 minutes to go. Smith, by the way, 95 yards on the afternoon. Bama wants the ball back. Williams, pitch. That is Tate. Tate, left side, short of the first down by at least 3 yards. The Bama fans going a little bit crazy right now. Minute and 28 to go here in the first half. It was all Georgia up till a few moments ago. Now it's a 17-7 ball game in prospects of Alabama getting the ball back in time for at least a field goal with a minute and 28 left. Timeout for Alabama to talk things over. I have an idea they might be going to rush this punter a little bit here.
As I said a few moments ago, Ray Perkins would like nothing better than to put some more numbers up on the board right here before halftime, because it could change the entire complexion of the game in the second half. It's the type of a quarter that you can look back and say maybe the entire 1984 season turned around in the second quarter of the Georgia game.
And I think the fans here are thinking exactly the same thing. They know this football team has the talent. They know it's a good team. They've lost 3 ball games to 3 good football teams. They'd like a win today. Here they come, but Andrews gets it off. Richardson at his own 35-yard line puts the head down. Barrels for 1 or 2 as he is smashed. John Bradley in on the stop for Georgia. So with a minute 19. Alabama, we'll see what they can do to get at least within field goal range. A couple of timeouts remain for Bama.
And Vince Sutton will go to his hurry-up offense. We know that he can run. We know that he can throw deep.
Vince Sutton, probably overall playing his finest football of the year. Looking, plenty of time. It's long. It is for Caruth. Incomplete. A great defensive play by Tony Flack. If that ball had made it to Caruth's arms, touchdown, Alabama. But a good play by Flack. It's 2nd and 10.
Caruth swinging deep out of the backfield that time, and Flack had covered toward the middle of the field, had to come back. A nice looping trajectory here by Sutton as he throws to Caruth along the sideline. Look at the recovery by Tony Flack, the junior cornerback, number 8, as he comes over to bat the ball away along the sideline.
Tony Flack, the only freshman to start from game 1 for Vince Dooley. Paul Ott Caruth this time running with the football. Gets up to about the 43, maybe the 44-yard line. Clock ticking. Under a minute. Lining up in a hurry. It's 3rd and 5.
No huddle. Here we go. Automatic signal.
Timeout for Georgia, as a matter of fact.
That is a strange decision
Why
on
would
the part
they do
of
that?
Georgia. No reason whatsoever that I can, and Vince Dooley doesn't understand it either. So the defense calls timeout. That's what you hope for when you're on offense, is that maybe the defense will panic Maybe they were so unsettled back there because of the no huddle that they decided to go with a timeout.
Vince Dooley, when asked, hey, what is the problem with Alabama, said, hey, I'll tell you what the problem with Alabama is. 3 exceptional schools in Boston College and Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt. All those schools were undefeated going into today's action.
I think that comeback by Boston College in the opener, which was nationally televised by ABC, certainly hurt them because they were moving the ball very effectively. And what Flutie did in the second half was miraculous.
Amazing. Great quarterback. A lot of folks think Vince Sutton will be a great quarterback. Vince Dooley says that Vince Sutton reminds him of Joe Namath.
Particularly because of the quick release.
And the quick feet. Good athlete. 8 of 14, as you can see.
And that 32-yard touchdown dash on 4th down.
All right, 3rd and 5. 53 seconds remain here in the first half. Sutton will fire it up. He's got a man incomplete. That was Clay Whitehurst. And once again, good defense by Georgia. Tony Flack is there to knock Whitehurst around a little bit. So it sets up a 4th and 5.
Tony Flack really does a good job of shadowing his receiver. Probably the best on individual coverage that they have. Best and most consistent in terms of single coverage.
Started every game of his collegiate career. Alabama with little choice but to punt the ball away. That's Jimmy Harrell. Sanders gets it off. Harrell backpedaling to his left, grabs it at the 12, knocked out of bounds immediately. 46-yard punt with no return. 38 seconds to go here in the first half.
Don't expect anything too mysterious from the Bulldogs now. You got to figure that you're going to see the old quarterback fall down play, because I'm sure they'll be very happy to take a 17-7 lead into the locker room at halftime.
They will take it. Williams at quarterback hands it off. This is Tate, who is upended at about the 15-yard line. Clock ticks now. Wayne Davis, the linebacker, makes the hit. And this will just about do it. One more play, and that'll be the first half. Alabama showing they are not out of it yet. Could win the locker room with a good head of steam, a good confidence builder coming up with that touchdown late here in the first half. We will not get another play off. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. And that will do it for the first half here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Todd Williams and the Bulldogs head for the locker room. They got to feel pretty good about a 17-7 lead, but Lee Gross Cup, Alabama at the same time, got to feel good about the way they came on late in the first half.
Particularly that 32-yard sprint to the end zone by Vince Sutton on 4th down and 3 yards to go. So the momentum may be changing here at halftime.
Alabama will get the ball back on the kick to open up the second half. The Georgia Bulldogs 17, Alabama Crimson Tide 7. We'll be back with today's halftime activities after this commercial message and a word from our local station. Corey McFerrin, Lee Grosskopf, and Lynn Swan here at Legion Field. Second half about to begin. Kevin Butler kicks it off. Chester Braggs in the end zone. Take over at the 30-yard line. Georgia's defensive setup. You saw Calvin Ruff, Donald Chumley, defensive tackle. Henry Harris, he's a good one out of Decatur, Georgia. Jake Richardson starting today. And Carlisle Hewitt, big defensive end out of Snellville, Georgia. Sutton keeping, running, look at him go. Pitches it off, ball Caruth, oh my. Had he held on to that football, Cooper, he might have had a big gainer. As it is, a 17-yard run for Vince Sutton. Knox Culpepper, the big linebacker for Georgia. Bill Mitchell, also a linebacker. You got Tony Flack, the cornerback. Kevin Harris, a senior. John Little at Roverback. Completing that secondary, Jeff Sanchez out of Yorba Linda, California. Paul Ott Caruth up across the 40-yard line. Second and 5, and Mike Schuler waiting on the sideline. Doesn't get a chance to play today, but Vince Sutton is the man of the ball game. Second and 5. As Richardson in motion, the pitch is to Caruth. One man across midfield. Look out. 35-30. Can Sanchez catch him? Yes, at the 2-yard line. The ball is fumbled. Is it down or is it Georgia? The ball belongs to Alabama at the 2-yard line. Jeff Sanchez, a touchdown-saving tackle. However, Alabama 2 yards away from making this a 3-point ball game.
It's the blocking by Ricky Moore, number 26, that springs Paul Ott Caruth, number 16. And now it's a foot race. Jeff Sanchez, the safety man, catching him right here. Big play for the Tide.
Chester Bragg looked like he had trouble hanging on the football. He has stopped cold. Alabama coming out strong here in the second half as we anticipated.
We were having some audio problems there momentarily. I hope I translated the enthusiasm that is shared here in the stadium as Alabama starts to move. We felt that this would be a key drive for them, how they came out in the second half, because the momentum began to change for the Tide late in the second quarter of the football game.
Bama going to try to punch it across. Second and 2. Sutton going to keep. Is he going to score? Yes. Vince Sutton scores his second touchdown of the afternoon. A keeper from 2 yards out. Let's see it again.
When you have a quarterback with the athletic ability of Vince Sutton, the option play can be very effective inside the 5-yard line because he has a read on the corner. That time he took it all the way to the corner where Tony Flack was the only man between him and the goal line, and he simply ran over Flack. Remember, he's 6'2" and 190 pounds.
Kiffin's extra point attempt is good. It's a 17-14 ball game. Georgia had gone out to a 17-0 lead, but Bama is back, and the crowd is fired up. Got ourselves a football game here at Legion Field in Birmingham. You know, Alabama won the toss to begin the game, elected to kick, and they received the second-half kick and utilized it, that momentum, and now they're within 3 points as they score on their first possession. 13:08 to go, third quarter, a 17-14 ball game. Here is the kick. Going to be taken at 2 yards deep in the end zone. 15-yard line. Andre Smith is smothered and knocked back to about the 13. A 17-yard return for Andre Smith. Good look at Alabama's defensive front. There's the big guy, John Hand. Kurt Jarvis, the nose guard. Brett Soule out of Clearwater, Florida, the defensive tackle. And Cornelius Bennett, the hitman at linebacker. Emmanuel King, another outstanding linebacker, senior. Scott McRae out of Huntsville. Randy Rockwell. Some big league ball players. Todd Williams to give to Andre Smith. That's the man, Cornelius Bennett.
Cornelius Bennett, who some think is the premier sophomore linebacker in the country.
That's right. Freddie Robinson, you saw. Vernon Wilkinson, to look at the secondary for Alabama. Paul Tripley, the leader out there from Liverpool, New York. And the fourth man, Britton Cooper. That's a great name for a football player. Out of Mobile, Alabama. I like that name. 12 and a half to go, third quarter, 17-14. Georgia, 2nd and 10. The pitch back, Lars Tate. Defense for Bama is fired up. Tate thrown for a loss. Emmanuel King gets the tackle.
Prior to the season, Ray Perkins felt that he had as good a defensive front seven as there was in America.
Well, they're showing some stuff right now. Look at Georgia's offensive line, a very inexperienced offensive line. In fact, Peter Anderson, the center, the only man with any significant playing experience coming into the season. 3rd and 11, big play for Georgia. Fred Lane in motion. Todd Williams looks like he wants to fire. Hits Lane, drops the football. That's an incomplete pass. And Georgia will have to punt it away. And the fans love it. You know, Cup, you talk about momentum and shifting of momentum. We are seeing it before our very eyes.
It began to shift late in the second quarter. And with that great drive by Alabama featuring the weak side pitch play to Paul Carruth, they are now back only 3 points behind Georgia. And initially, it looked like we were going to have a blowout when it was 17-zip.
Andrews to punt. Richardson to receive. At the 45, good tackle out there. Kenny Driscoll. Special teams makes the hit. Alabama back on offense. Legion Field going a little crazy. Good shot of downtown Birmingham, Alabama. Construction going on down there. You pull back and see legendary Legion Field, 75,000 plus, and they are fired up, at least most of them. Ricky Moore up the middle, driving over midfield. Alabama starting off with the best field position they have had all afternoon.
Ricky Moore, who many pro scouts feel has the potential to be a high-round draft pick in the pros, takes the straight handoff over the left side, veers back to his right. You see some of the leg drive as he literally carries 4 tacklers there into the secondary.
2nd and 3. Moore again. Penalty flag is dropped. Moore has the first down. Might be some movement in the backfield.
Illegal motion.
I think we heard it. The illegal motion is the call.
We're going to go back here with a 2nd down, back this way, boys.
I think Ricky got a little head start that time.
Illegal motion. Offense. 2nd down.
Ray Perkins says that Ricky Moore is the best fullback he's ever been around.
That's saying a lot.
That is saying a lot.
He's coached for 3 different professional teams, too. Don't forget that.
2nd and 8. That's Richardson in motion. Draw play to Moore, looking for a hole to cut through. Can't find one. Donald Chumley is there to tackle him. At about the 47-yard line. There's the man they like to call Perk. 3 years head coach with the New York Giants before that. Assistant jobs at San Diego, New England. Started off his coaching career at Mississippi State.
This is a key 3rd down situation right now.
3rd and 7 yards to go. Sutton will throw. Looking over the middle, looking for Carruth, overthrown. Sanchez was there. The ball not even close to Paul Carruth. The kid's got a rifle, but it isn't quite under control yet.
Got to lower the sights on that rifle. Remember, he is a freshman. That's when you like to have a Ken Stabler at quarterback. 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7. You just know he's going to find a way to pick up that yardage.
Well, I'd take it. I would take it. Vince Sutton will be a good one, though. 30 touchdown passes his senior year in high school. You hear that?
Yep.
Harry Sanders to punt it away. Jimmy Harrell calls for the fair catch at about the 17-yard line. So Georgia will get a crack again on offense. The Bama crowd, though, is still fired up. Let's now check in with Lynn Swan on the sideline.
Corey, Lee, what Alabama's been lacking in the 4 previous ball games was the big play. They got it when Vince scored the touchdown at the end of the second quarter, and then Paul Cruz-Ott comes back with a big play to set up another Vince touchdown. The defensive line, instead of standing up and reading now, they're coming out much more aggressively, and the attitude and enthusiasm has now fallen over to the Alabama side.
Thank you, Lynn. That was Lars Tate, hit hard by Cornelius Bennett and Emmanuel King.
Our colleague Lynn Swan knows wherein he speaks. He knows about attitude and enthusiasm. He played for a national championship team with USC in 1972, and of course later with the Pittsburgh Steelers, where he collected Super Bowl rings.
I got a feeling old Lynn could probably still suit up and play a pretty good game if he had to. 2nd and 9. Williams will keep. Dives across to about the 22, and Georgia is struggling on offense. One thing they have not shown today is a passing attack of any kind, averaging coming into the ball game about 112 yards through the air. But today, zip.
One of many interesting stats on Vince Dooley: 6 SEC championships, a national championship in 1980, National Coach of the Year, and 7-time SEC Coach of the Year.
Grew up in Mobile, Alabama. 3rd and 6. Williams rolling. Williams throwing. Complete pass to Herman Archie. First down, Georgia, 38-yard line. And just like clockwork, after I tell the folks about how poor their passing attack has been, he completes the pass to Herman Archie. We're 17 yards.
That's a sure way to get a completion. And that is what Todd Williams does best. We talked earlier about how he is most effective on sprint-out passes when he can get to the corner, take advantage of the fact that he is not very tall. He does have a tall receiver in Herman Archie, though, right there.
Lars Tate, a loss on the play, tackled at about the 33-yard line. Williams on the day with that pass gives him 3 of 5 for a total of 13 yards.
Prior to that completion, he had minus yardage on the day.
That was being timed when they said they had zip for passing yardage, -4. Williams, handoff, Tate got some room right side, but very quickly that hole is closed up. And Georgia will find a 3rd and 13 situation facing them. You see the clock, 7:45 to go here in the 3rd. 3-point ball game.
3rd and 13, you've got to figure that you're going to see some type of sprint out pass again. And his favorite routes, he told me yesterday, are the deep curl in and the deep sideline cut.
Todd Williams fakes the handoff. He's going over the middle. It is intercepted by Alabama at midfield. That is Paul Tripoli. Intended for Herman Archie. Tripoli, the senior out of Liverpool, New York. And the momentum continues to shift to the Tide. They got the football at midfield. Todd Williams not very happy about that ball.
The tide has turned.
Probably the first time that's ever been said in an Alabama game, huh?
I think so. I sat up all night working on my cliches and puns.
There goes Vince. That ball knocked down, just about picked off by Kenny Sims. Knocks it down.
Another look at that last big interception. It was a fake draw there. Herman Archie is the intended target. And Paul Tripoli, who has emerged as the ringleader of the secondary for the Crimson Tide, number 23, steps in front to intercept.
2nd and 10. Alabama's defensive crew getting prepared for the next time they head out in the field. This is Vince looking at incomplete. In fact, intercepted. Jeff Sanchez out the tip ball, tackled hard at the 44-yard line. It was tipped by Knox Culpepper. Jeff Sanchez comes up with a football. And a big break for Georgia coming up with a big play. That ball intended for Greg Richardson. The
The ball is intended for Richardson here as Vince Sutton on a straight drop-back pass here. Watch the drop by Knox Culpepper, number 48. There's the tip right there. And it's Tony Flack, number 8, who comes up with the interception.
Flack with a tip, Sanchez with the interception.
Yeah.
This is large take up to the 45, and a couple interceptions back-to-back here by Williams and then by Sutton. Sutton threw 6 consecutive incomplete passes. Paul Tripoli there makes the stop.
So we have 2 safety men coming up with interception. We have Tripoli on one side and Sanchez on the other. Off of the tip by Flack, not Culpepper.
We got it straight now?
I think we've got it. By George, I've got it.
2nd and 8. Todd, confused, tosses it. Almost picked off again. Looking for Scott Williams. The last-ditch attempt.
Good pressure on Todd Williams, who, interestingly enough, Corey, is prematurely gray. He's still a kid, but he's already got gray hair.
I think Todd may be fully gray by the time he's 25. In games like this, I would assume would add a few gray hairs.
That's why quarterbacks change. Yeah.
You seen Kenny Stabler lately?
Yep.
6.5 minutes to go. 3rd and 8. Georgia leads by 3. 42-yard line. Williams will throw. Big pressure again. John Hand, the sack. Vince Dooley said before this game, John Hand is the best tackle we've faced all year.
And many pro scouts are projecting him as a future #1 pick in either the National Football League or the United States Football League. He has the size you like, 6'7", 270 pounds, good lateral movement, and exceptional upper body strength.
8-yard loss sets up a 4th and 15. Andrews the punt. Richardson at the 23. Goes right. Puts a move. Got some room up the sideline. Knocked out at about the 44-yard line. So Richardson fires them up. Alabama with good field position. They trail by 3 points. Thanks, Jim. Just saw Vince Sutton, quarterback keeper, gain of about 3. So they are inside Georgia territory. 5:25 to go. It'll be 2nd and 7. And Cupper, one thing we should mention is the outstanding tailback, Kerry Good, who was knocked out of action the very first game of the year in that Boston College game. Really hurt this offense.
That is a loss that will be deeply felt for the Tide all season long.
Paul Otkaruk trying to stretch it up to the 45-yard line. In fact, there's Mike Shula, number 11.
Son of Don Shula, grew up in the Miami Dolphins training camp, admired Bob Greasy, and was playing pitch and catch with those great Dolphin receivers from the time he was a little boy.
In fact, his brother was Jeff Kemp's wide receiver up at Dartmouth.
I covered them.
Good ball player. This is Sutton on 3rd and 5. Firing. It is caught. Incredible catch. Preston Gothard. But it's incomplete. We thought he had it from here. Limping off the field. A great effort. Let's watch it again. Knox Culpepper, isolation.
Knox Culpepper is the man who is covering Gothard to the outside from his linebacker position. It appears right here that Gothard has made a great catch. But you see there that it's a good call by the official, and the officials are usually right.
And Cupper, that's why we have instant replay.
Yep.
Almost a great catch. Doesn't work. 4th and 5. Sanders, no. They're going to give it to Don Horsted. It worked for Scott Williams and Georgia in the first half. It has just worked for Alabama. 1st down on the gadget play. Bama is in business at the 40-yard line of Georgia.
Gadget plays paying off for both teams. Don Horsted right there, number 39, on the fake kick on 4th down. Goes off the right side, exactly the same place that Georgia ran it earlier in the ballgame.
So it's 1st and 10. Bama's offense back on the field, 40-yard line. Huge play for Alabama. Sutton, the sideline, is going to be kicked off. with the big play. Georgia comes up with their big play, and the ball returns to the Dogs offense.
That is the third interception of the day of Vince Sutton passes, and you wonder now if we might see Shula in the ball game. We were just talking about him. Trying to throw up the sideline, looping trajectory here. The ball aimed for his wide receiver, John Little. No, it's Paul Carew. He's covered by the safety man, John Little.
Nice catch, Jimmy Hockaday, 22-yard line for Georgia. Sutton suddenly going cold. Last 8 throws, all incompletions or interceptions.
And 2 of those have been intercepted. 3 on the day.
2nd and 3 for Georgia.
He's upset with himself. You can see it right there.
Andre Smith plowing across, and the fact that he is upset with himself and maybe a little bit into it emotionally right now might be reason enough for Ray Perkins to go with a guy like Shula, who might not have that kind of attachment emotionally to what's been happening on the field.
He may bring Shula in at least for a series or 2 to give Sutton a chance to settle down. Shula is more of a good short to intermediate range passer. Sutton has a little stronger arm, is a little faster.
They are checking now for the first down. Georgia's first down of the second half.
So for the first 11 minutes or so of this third quarter, Alabama has pretty much been in charge.
I think Georgia knows they have to go at this offense a little more aggressively than they have here in the second half. That is Cleveland Gary. Couple yards, if that. Three minutes to go in the third quarter. The Bulldogs with a 17-14 lead. They had a 17-0 lead late in the first half.
Sure, Vince Dooley would like to reestablish that strong inside running game that he had in the first quarter.
Williams, option. He keeps it up to the 34-yard line. These two teams haven't played since 1977. That year, Alabama beat Georgia by a score of 18-10.
Todd Williams is listed as a 6-footer in the press guide, but truthfully, he's about 5'10 and a half, 5'11. He's a resourceful runner and a good short intermediate range passer.
That run by Williams sets up a 3rd and 1. The give is to Cleveland. Gary, he makes it. And then some.
So the inside running game that I spoke of moments ago may be reestablished here by the Bulldogs. Going right over the center and guard is where they have been most effective. Smith got both his touchdowns that way, if you joined us late.
Cleveland Gary, 8 carries for 33 yards so far today. Got a flag thrown. Illegal motion, Georgia. There's Todd Williams. Vince Dooley says, we know Todd will never be a great quarterback. Doesn't have the big arm, doesn't have the great
False
speed.
start. Offense. Still first down.
What he can do is lead a football team. He has poise. He's got a good mind, a good head. And he can move a football team down the field. That's exactly what he's trying to do here. Williams rolling. This is where he's very effective. He fires. Almost picked off. Ricky Thomas out there. Good defensive play. He's fired up about it. That ball intended for Herman Archie.
Herman Archie on the sideline cut, and Ricky Thomas, 34, the safety man, cutting right in front there. And he picked that ball off. There was a lot of running room.
All right. 2nd pitch to Gary. Looking for some room. Bangs his way across the 35 to 37-yard line. Cornelius Bennett and Ricky Thomas make the team tackle. Here's a good shot for you. Shula on the sideline, consoling Mr. Sutton.
You see how they're very similar in size. They're both listed at 6'2", 190.
And does the fact he has a football in his hand hold any significance?
Not necessarily.
3rd and 13 for Georgia. This place is alive, I'll tell you. Minute to go, 3rd quarter, Georgia 3-point lead. Williams got some time, throws it, caught by Hockaday at the 47-yard line, but I believe he is short by a couple yards. We'll have to wait and see where they place it. 11-yard gain.
Motion right here by number 85. That's Jimmy Hockaday. Comes straight down. Outcut, covered by Freddie Robinson, number 21. The ball was thrown perfectly because it was low and outside, and he brought him back. That's safe.
All right, we got some drama. 4th and 2. Less than 30 seconds to go. 3rd quarter. Georgia's going for it. David McCluskey in at fullback. McCluskey in motion with Lars Tate or Cleveland Gary in the backfield. He is taken for a loss. Ricky Thomas comes out of the defensive backfield to make the stop on Cleveland Gary.
I have to wonder about that call by Georgia on 4th down and 2 yards to go. When you're leading in the ballgame 17-14, it's very uncharacteristic of Vince Dooley football, who you think of as being a man who is essentially conservative and very much a believer in fundamentals, field position, the running game, and so on.
Bama takes over inside the Georgia 45. Sutton is that quarterback. Ricky Moore tries the left side. So Ray Perkins sticking with the freshman as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. Legion Field is alive. We've got a quarter of football remaining. Georgia leads by 3. CFA college football. The Georgia Bulldogs versus the Alabama Crimson Tide will continue after this commercial message and a word from our local station. Stay with us.
Vince Dooley talks about the Alabama game.
The 4 fingers raised above the head. Henry Williams, defensive tackle for Georgia, says the 4th quarter belongs to the Dogs. We will see Alabama on offense. Sutton at quarterback. Ricky Moore at opening. 40, 35-yard line.
4th quarter football has something of a tradition at Georgia. How many times can you think back to where the Dogs came from behind and in such thrilling fashion to win so many big games? Of course, likewise for Alabama. So something's got to give.
The Clemson game is a perfect example 2 weeks ago. The last-second field goal by Butler from 60 yards out won that game for the Dogs. Right now, 3rd and 1. There's movement on the right side. You saw it. Willard Schism. Things are heating up here at Legion Field right now, though. Let's check in with Jim Lampley. Jim?
Corey, Illinois is trying to bounce back from last week's loss to Iowa, and one thing which may help him do it is the presence of this man, David Williams, one of the 2 hottest pass receivers in the nation. This 44-yard run with a pass from Trudeau was the only touchdown of the first half as the Illini have a 13-3 lead over Wisconsin. Back to Corey.
Thank you, Jim. Hey, you talk about a big game. Wow. Alabama, the record, 1 win, 3 losses next week. The prospect of playing Penn State, then Tennessee. They got LSU and Auburn on this schedule. They need a win today. Sutton, look out, fires, low, incomplete. That ball was intended for the fullback, Ricky Moore. Sutton continues to show some inconsistencies, but I believe Moore fell down on this run.
Ricky Moore, number 26, coming out of the backfield. He trips right there. He tries to get up. Sutton kind of hesitates momentarily, throws the ball out there, and it's not well thrown. Sutton cold in the second half. He's now 7 of 20 for 49 yards. He's been intercepted 3 times. However, he has scored 2 touchdowns.
4th and 6. The punt. Harrell is back. They're going to let it roll in the end zone, they hope, but I believe Alabama has downed it inside the 5. They have at about the 3-yard line. Big play by the Crimson Tide.
So the work of special teams and defense continuing to be effective for the Tide.
Kamikaze man for the Tide. Bill Pierce, the man who downs that ball on the 3. Back with more in a moment. Back at Legion Field, 13:54 to go in the ball game. Georgia continues to hang on to a 3-point lead, but they're deep in their own territory, pinned down at the 3-yard line. Williams keeps across the 5, gets up maybe to the 6.
Conversely, Alabama has started their last 4 possessions at the 44, the 50, the 49, and the 44, but have scored no points. Well, that's what drives coaches like Ray Perkins crazy, because he believes so much in the concept of fundamentals.
Some of the folks around Tuscaloosa calling Alabama's offensive unit the Groundhogs as they burrow themselves into a hole when they get close to scoring so far this year. That was Lars Tate.
Groundhogs. Huh?
Groundhogs, right. You know how they're like, right? Dig a lot, the hole. We've seen a bit of that today. Lars Tate, the freshman from Indianapolis, brings the ball out to the 12-yard line. Sets up a key 3rd and 1 situation. He dives, and I don't know. Lars Tate goes up. Cornelius Bennett meets him in midair. It's very close. We'll have to see where they spot it.
That's quite a confrontation between a great sophomore linebacker and a potentially outstanding freshman tailback. Let's see who wins. Lars Tate coming from the tailback. Reverse pivot by the quarterback. He does his Herschel Walker impersonation right there. And look who stands him up perfectly. In great position is number 97, Cornelius Bennett, the linebacker.
Let's check it out.
Score 1 for Bennett.
Bennett 1, Tate 0. They miss it by about 7-8 inches.
You can see why pro scouts have that man in their future book. Cornelius Bennett, number 97, will probably rewrite the press guide for career tackles and big plays by the time he graduates.
Minutes, 28 seconds to go. Georgia will punt it away. That's Chip Andrews at the goal line. Gets off a beautiful kick way back at the 35-yard line. It's Greg Richardson. The coverage is excellent. McCluskey is down there. David McCluskey, the number 1 special teams man for Georgia. A tremendous punt. 53 yards. Alabama on offense when we come back. There's a man who knows what winning is all about. Played for the Bear right here at 64 and 65 for Alabama, the national championship teams. An All-American in 66. And then quite a professional career with the Colts. Played in 2 Super Bowls, one of which the Colts won. He wants to bring a national championship back to the University of Alabama. Their last title came in 1979. Look at this, Tuck.
Some indication of the play selection there with Georgia and Alabama. And field position, which we've talked about, Alabama so much dominating here in the second half.
2nd and 6 after the 4-yard gain. Inside draw, Paul Otkaruth. He is up and past midfield. 9-yard gain. I believe it's the first time we've seen that particular play today.
Paul Otkaruth limping off there.
Caruth coming in with 6 touchdowns on the year, 3 of them via the ground, 3 through the air. This time, Sutton going to keep. Watch the speed. Tries to turn it up, but can't do it. Forced out at about the 45-yard line of Georgia. Jeff Sanchez comes up quickly to force Vince out of bounds. Vince Sutton out of LaGrange, Georgia, and there was a huge recruiting battle, as you might imagine. #1 quarterback prospect in many people's minds last year. Georgia was very hot on Vince's trail. In fact, Vince considered the University of Georgia very closely. But chose Alabama. Paul Ott-Caruth on the sideline. 11 carries, 99 yards. Quite a day. The leading rusher for Alabama coming in. Flag on the play before the play began. Five-yard penalty against Alabama.
Dead ball foul. Illegal procedure. Offense. Still second down.
See if we can see it here, Cup.
Dead ball foul. Let's see if we can see where it happened. They're pointing at number 62.
That would be John McIntosh, if in fact he was the man to commit the offense. Vince Sutton, look at him fire. It's caught at about the 43-yard line. That's Preston Gothard with the reception. Good catch by Preston. Good coverage applied by Knox Culpepper. Preston left the game earlier. Obviously, he's back in good health.
Knox Culpepper in isolation here from his linebacker position, dropping into the coverage. Preston Gothard, the tight end, moving to the inside. That ball had to be perfectly thrown, and it was.
3rd and 4 after the reception by Gothard. Vince scrambling to his left. He is firing. Richardson, no. Greg Richardson makes the dive at about the 24-yard line. Sutton throwing on the run. Kevin Harris provides the coverage. So it sets up a 4th and 4.
I'm sure Vince Sutton is wishing, he's upset with himself. If he had taken a little bit more time there and set himself and thrown that ball with a little softer touch to the outside, he would have had a big completion. That's the inexperience that we were talking about at the very top of the show. He has the natural talent, but he is indeed a college freshman.
One of these days, this experience will pay off, though. 8 for 22 on the day. 4th and 4. Let's see if they don't punt. They do. The rush, a strong one. The kick comes down in the end zone. Good shot of Vince Sutton on the sideline. 43-yard punt. Georgia takes over on offense. They've got a 3-point lead with 10:18 left to go. College football, Legion Field, Birmingham, Alabama. Corey McFerrin, Lee Grosscup, and Lynn Swan with you. Got ourselves quite a football game. There he is. I once did an interview with Uga.
What did he say?
He barked a little bit. He's generally a happy dog as long as he's got some food. Tron Jackson, right side, the electron bomb. Couple yards, maybe 3.
I told you we might see Tron in the 4th quarter. They like to use him that way. He's the swiftest man on the team. World-class speed in both 100 and 200 meters. The electron bomb. Is that a new video game?
Could be. Could be. The guy can move. There's no question about it. The only guy on the team that could probably beat him in a foot race would be Stanley Blaylock, a receiver who was part of the NCAA 400-meter championship team for the University of Georgia. Williams gets mixed up but turns into a big gainer. Up to about the 33-yard line. Good poise by Williams. A 1st down for the Dogs. 9-yard gain.
Hunker down, you hairy dog.
Let the big dog eat.
When Herschel was there, they said that quite a bit.
That was very appropriate in those days.
The big dog chewed up a lot of yards.
As you can see, it's all coming on the ground today. Cleveland Sherry gets by the front line, breaks it. to about the 44-yard line where Freddie Robinson comes up to make the hit. 11-yard gain. So a 9-yard gainer by Williams. An 11-yard gain by Gary.
This is the sort of thing that delights Vince Dooley. We talked about how he loves the concept of I-formation football. He prefers to get the ball to his tailback a lot of times. He's been more fullback-oriented today, but he loves those classic tailback plays in the I-formation.
The pitch. Alabama grabs the football, but I believe they will call Jackson down at the 42-yard line. This partisan crowd does not agree with that call. Cliff Thomas and Randy Rockwell, the linebacker, came up to greet Tron in a very tough manner. We'll see it again.
This is some greeting, and I don't mean a Christmas greeting. Look at this. That's one of the most impressive hits of the day.
Hey,
I don't know.
He was in the air.
I'd question that call.
He was in the air. The Bama fans might have something to gripe about. 2nd and 12. Jackson again. Emmanuel King is there.
I think the Dogs should consider themselves lucky with that call.
I agree. We'll see it one more time.
One more time. Let's see right here. Watch. The ball pops loose right there.
Oh,
the man is still in midair.
Got to be a fumble. Go! Go! But Georgia has the football. 3rd and 9, a pivotal play. We're under 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Williams rolling. Williams under pressure, runs. He's going to have the first down. Todd Williams, the junior from Waycross, Georgia. What a heady play. The guy's had a terrible day through the air, but he just saved his team a punting situation as he runs for the first down.
Pro scouts refer to this quality as escape dimension. Sprint out to his left. He's looking for his wide receiver. Now he sees daylight up the middle, and Todd Williams races by a linebacker right here, puts his head down, and picks up the valuable first down yardage.
Williams has rushed 7 times today, a total of 34 yards. This time it's Tron again, and so far the electron bomb is yet to get loose.
There's the tailback draw. Remember how I told you they're not using it a whole lot? When Herschel was here, that was one of their big plays. But Tron Jackson, the most experienced of the tailbacks, has a sense of the field and can execute that play.
We've got 7 minutes exactly to go in this ball game. Georgia on the Alabama 45-yard line. It's 2nd and 10. And Andre Smith breaking it inside the 30 to 27-yard line. Great fake by Williams. Andre Smith, who had that sensational first quarter with the 2 touchdowns. A 17-yard gain. The Georgia ground game is cooking.
This is looking like the first quarter all over again. Reverse spin, that's that drive play by the fullback. Remember the second touchdown? It's exactly the same look. Andre Smith, a.k.a. Pulpwood, number 35, 17 yards, big play.
6:28 to go. The pitch back to Lars Tate whistles. Sound prior to the snap. It's against Georgia, as you can see.
Dead ball foul. Illegal procedure. Nothing.
All right, that's making a 1st and 15 for Georgia. Tell you what, there is nobody who's left this football stadium yet. Andre Smith on the day, 10 carries, 114 yards. The first time a Georgia back has rushed for over 100 yards since Tron Jackson did last year against Temple. Lars Tate, left side, is crushed at about the 32. Not much.
Fresh tailback alternating here in the Georgia backfield. We said that we would see all 3 tailbacks play, but particularly here in the 4th quarter with Tron Jackson seeing action, you're seeing fresh tailbacks in there almost all the time.
Georgia controlling the football. This is the 10th play in this particular drive. Vince Dooley on the sideline. 2nd and 13. Todd going right. He is throwing. Caught. Herman Archie, touchdown, Bulldogs. Wow. Todd Williams all afternoon, difficulty hooking up with his receivers, but here at the 5:33 mark of the fourth quarter, with the game on the line, he comes through at the big play, 31 yards to Herman Archie.
This is an example of patience paying off. They set it up with their running game. Sprint out pass, throwback across the grain to number 81, wide receiver Herman Archie.
Butler's extra point is good. And the University of Georgia takes a 24-14 lead. Herman Archie's touchdown reception from Todd Williams. Back at Legion Field, let's see the touchdown again. Williams to Archie, 31 yards.
Well developed here as Todd Williams sprints to the corner. The blocking is perfect. Herman Archie cuts to the post and beats Freddie Robinson, number 21. And the ball was thrown with a lot of authority. That is the best pass of the day for quarterback Todd Williams. Perfectly set up by the running game and by earlier sprint out passes, especially going wide.
While we were away, there was an animated conversation between Coach Ray Perkins and the officials about time running off the clock when it shouldn't have been running. I don't believe he is satisfied yet with the result.
Very animated.
In fact, it was kind of an argument. 24-14, less than 5 minutes to go. Alabama staring a 1-4 record in the face. Georgia looking to go 3-1 if this 10-point lead holds up. 80-yard drive, 10 play. They soak up almost 5 minutes on the clock. The key play, Todd Williams to Herman Archie. 31 yards. And Georgia has a 24-14 lead. Here we go. You think Butler might have a leg or what? Alabama on offense, but right now let's check in with Jim Lampley in New York. Jim.
Corey McFerrin, Nebraska had gone 6 quarters without a touchdown before they broke this Shane Swanson 49-yard punt return with 8:51 to go in Lincoln to finally take the lead against Oklahoma State. First time they've led in the ball game at 10-3. The Cowboys now trying to come back with about 5 minutes to go in that ball game. Back to Corey McFerrin.
Thank you, Jim. First and 10. 30-yard line. Alabama 4 minutes and 50 seconds to score 10 points. Sutton over the middle. Paul Otkaruth has got the football, but Knox Culpepper is there along with John Little. They've just announced here that the clock on the scoreboard is inaccurate. The time will be kept on the field. So we are not sure if 4:50 how close that is to reality. Now it's ticking down. We'll keep track of that for you. Second and second after the 8-yard gain. Sutton again to Caruth. Same kind of play. Almost breaks through the tackle by Culpepper. Ball out past the 45-yard line. Called to 46 of Alabama. Other scores in the SEC. Auburn beat Mississippi 17-13. Florida shuts out Syracuse 16-zip. Mississippi State 27. Southern Miss 18. 4:30 to go. Look out. Big rush. Sutton goes down. The tackle by Greg Walters. His 4th sack on the year to vault into the team lead. 14-yard loss. 14-yard loss. Greg Waters. Big play.
Again, you see a little bit of the inexperience of Sutton there because he was fading to his left in the pocket instead of sliding forward, and that gave Walters a good shot.
4 minutes, 13 seconds to go. Georgia, 10 points in front. Vince Sutton, the freshman quarterback for the University of Alabama, 10 of 24, 70 yards, 3 times has thrown the interception today. Inexperienced, inconsistent, but shows flashes of brilliance. He's got 4 minutes and 13 seconds left to show some magic today. Gothard. Up to about the 42-yard line, and now time becomes a major factor. We're inside 4 minutes right now.
We saw Mike Shula warming up on the sidelines momentarily, just moments ago. But it looks like Vince Sutton all the way.
Sutton again, being chased. Look out, he's going to run. 40, 45, midfield, 45, 40-yard line of Georgia. So the clock stops at 3:42, an 18-yard pickup. Vince Sutton shows his feet. Can move pretty well.
Smart running here. He senses pressure up the middle, moves to his left. Now he sees daylight, moves it upfield as far as he can, and then stops the clock by stepping out of bounds and avoiding contact, possibly an injury.
Good play. 8 rushing attempts for Sutton, a total of 52 yards on the day.
And 2 touchdowns.
One of 32 yards, the other of 2 yards. Chester Bragg bowling his way inside the Georgia 35, down to about the 34. 3:31 to go, 3:30 to go.
Hurry up offense all the way now for Alabama.
Chester Bragg's in the ball game. Twin set formation with Ricky Moore. This time, Sutton across the middle, Braggs again. Inside the 25 to 24. Boswell makes the stop for Georgia.
No time for huddles. Automatic signals. Get going, guys.
This is a time where a freshman quarterback can grow leaps and bounds. Big pressure, Kenny Sims. Saxon. 4th sack for Georgia. 13-yard loss.
Timeout, says Ray Perkins right there.
Kenny Sims' 4th sack on the season. 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go. Ray Perkins and the Tide call timeout. They're down by 10 points. The Georgia Bulldogs jumped out to a quick 17-0 lead in the first half. Alabama stormed back a couple of touchdowns by Vince Sutton. Made it 17-14. Then it was Todd Williams to Herman Archie, the 31-yard touchdown connection. That's where we are right now, 24 to 14. 3rd down, 23 yards to go. Ball on the 37-yard line of Georgia. 2 minutes, 54 seconds remain in this contest.
Many big plays in this football game today, but I'm sure when Georgia officials look at their films on Tuesday or Monday, whenever they do it, they're going to think about the 4 sacks on Vince Sutton that netted minus 51 yards.
Vince Sutton still at the control. 3rd and 23. Let's see what they come up with. It's a quarterback draw again. Will it work? 30. He dives to the 25. He's going to be about 10 yards short. It'll be 4th and about 13. That was a draw play that worked for the 32-yard touchdown earlier in the game.
Exactly. It was a 4th and 3 situation earlier, and it netted 32 yards and a touchdown. This time, it's going to come up short of a first down.
4th and 10. This is it for Bama. They've got to complete this pass. Sutton going long to the end zone, up in the air. It is incomplete. That ball intended for Paul Otteru. John Little is back there, and so is Kevin Harris. Sutton put it up for grabs, and the ball falls down to the earth, but there's a flag way back at the 32-yard line. Looks like it's against Alabama. They're talking it over with Georgia, pretty good indication that it is against Alabama, perhaps a hold. Ray Perkins doesn't look real happy right now.
Defense. Holding. Offense. Still 3rd down.
Holding on Alabama. Still 3rd down. I believe he made a mistake.
3rd down and very long. 3rd and 20 yards to go.
20, okay.
They're going to have to try to split that deep seam in the zone coverage.
2:22 to go. Sutton back to fire. He's got a man, Caruth. Look out. It is picked off. Jeff Sanchez, his 2nd pick of the day. 20-yard line. 25, 30, look out, 35, 37-yard line before he's forced out of bounds. Sutton appeared to have Caruth within his sights. Another flag is down.
Looked like a late hit on number 54 of Alabama. That would be Wes Neighbors, the son of Billy Neighbors. He got to play his part of his father in the movie Bear.
Sanchez comes up with the interception. As you can see, the penalty against Alabama. And that pretty much salts it away for the University of Georgia today. 2:09 to go in the contest. Sanchez, the veteran, sat out the whole year last season with a broken arm. He was all conference in '82. Had 9 interceptions back in '82, ranking him second in the nation today. He picks off 2 of them.
So I got the wrong ball here.
4 key interceptions of Vince Sutton passes and 4 sacks, netting
Dead
more
ball.
than 50 yards of
Personal
offense.
foul. Defense. First down.
Vince Sutton is trying to throw deep down the middle to his back, Paul Ott Caruth. And playing center field there at his safety position is number 31, Jeff Sanchez. He was hit late, out of bounds.
Georgia undoubtedly will play it safe. 24-14 the score. Andre Smith takes the football and rather tentatively pushes ahead for about 2. Timeout, Alabama, 1:59 remaining. So if you look at those sacks, you look at those interceptions, you can very clearly point out key problem for Alabama, and that is at the quarterback position. They've got a freshman in there with a lot of talent, but he is a freshman playing in his 5th game of his collegiate career, and he just isn't quite ready yet.
And the problems that have characterized Alabama football have been very much in evidence today. They've gotten good work out of their defense and their kicking game at times, but the offense has been suspect. And with a freshman quarterback and some other young people, you're going to have problems for a while, and especially in a sophisticated offense such as the offense that Ray Perkins brought to Alabama from the New York Giants. You don't learn that in just 2 or 3 games.
Go Dogs!
So we mentioned earlier that Alabama off to its worst start since 1967. 57, I mean. Could now be after today 1-4.
And what's really scary about that is look ahead. Penn State next week. They got Tennessee on the schedule. They got LSU. They've got Auburn. Have had a losing season here since that 1957 year. But that certainly is a realistic possibility because today they will fall to 1 win and 4 losses. 1:48 to go. Georgia, on the other hand, looking ahead a little bit. Next week, they will take on Ole Miss in Athens. This would be Georgia's first conference victory of the year. Alabama would fall to 0-2. They lost last week to Vanderbilt. This is a Georgia team.
Looks like number 90.
That's Joe Godwin, inside linebacker, being attended to on the field. Vince Dooley all year long has been saying, hey, this is not the same kind of Georgia football team we've had the past few years with the depth, the experience. Of course, we know Vince likes to downplay his team and their talents, but this year there is a certain amount of truth to that.
He is indeed the master of the understatement. This team reminds me a little bit of the 1978 Georgia team. The slogan that year, 1978, was underdogs to wonder dogs. And you remember that they came on very strongly that season. I covered them twice that year. The opening game against Baylor, which they won. The final game against Georgia Tech. Finest telecast I think we've ever had here at ABC Sports.
A wild one indeed. Todd Williams, the pitch to Lars Tate. Lars pounds the right side. Gets a couple as the clock continues to tick away. Minute 16, minute 15 to go in this ball game. And the Georgia Bulldogs will have an enjoyable bus ride back to Athens this evening. The stadium finally beginning to clear out. Tell you what, Cover, so much red today, it's hard to tell from up here which is crimson and which is the Georgia red. There were a lot of Bulldog fans here today. And they are celebrating in the stands right now.
Don't say that to a Georgia fan or an Alabama fan, though. They know the difference. They'll tell you there's a big difference between crimson and red.
That there is. Greg Richardson back to receive.
Well, you mentioned at the very top the great historical elements to this rivalry, one that dates all the way back to 1895 when Pop Warner was the coach at Georgia. Through the years, so many great players have appeared for both schools. There have been two Heisman Trophy winners.
Fraction of the 25-second count. Offense.
Frank Sinkwich in 1942, Herschel Walker in 1982 for Georgia. Never a Heisman for Alabama, though, interestingly enough.
Which is wild when you consider they've won the national title 5 times and won the SEC crown 18 times. Richardson, 12-yard line, tries to jump around a little bit, doesn't no good. 37-yard punt, a return of 1 yard. 30 seconds to go in the ball game.
Intensity showing on the face of Ray Perkins. He is that kind of a coach. He was that kind of player.
Talk about the rivalry and the great historical tradition. It's good to see Georgia and Alabama playing again after a 7-year void. Alabama won more SEC titles than anybody else with 18, but Georgia is second on that list. Sutton scrambling, looking around, under 30 seconds. That's Richardson. Could have cut to the sidelines. He does not, to the 27.
Some people have asked about that particular item, and it really has nothing to do with the two schools trying to avoid one another. It simply has to do with the rotation that is standard in the SEC.
They've got 5 permanent opponents, and the other 4 simply rotate year to year. Vince Sutton, look out. Fires it. It is caught. Nice catch. Paul out Caruth. 40-yard line. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. Clock is stopped with 3 seconds to go. In fact, the first game ever played, Lee, at Legion Field was Alabama, Georgia, November 24, 1927. Bulldogs won that meeting 20-6. This is the 12th meeting of these two teams at this stadium. Alabama had led coming in 6-4-1. Going to make it 6-5-1 right now. That is it. The University of Georgia has won this ball game 24-14. Ray Perkins makes the long walk to the locker room. Back with a final word in just a moment from Legion Field. Back at Legion Field, most of this huge crowd has already filed out. They have seen the University of Georgia win their ball game today over Alabama by a final score of 24-14. Georgia improves their record to 3-1. Alabama falls to 1-4. And Lee, a 1-4 record is kind of tough for Alabama fans to swallow.
Worst start since 1957, as we mentioned, and so the Tide now has their backs against the wall for the remainder of the 1984 season. Those problems that we talked about were very much in evidence.
Stay tuned for the college football scoreboard show. Once again, it's Georgia 24, Alabama 14. Travel arrangements made through promotional fee paid by United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports.